All right, everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started. For get us going, we're going to give us those arm circles, and while we're doing that, those feet are moving, whether or not that's just pedaling the heels, or it's a full-on march, or even just a side-to-side shuffle, or even going ahead and walking around if you got enough space for that in your location. But while you're doing those arm circles, they're getting bigger. Of course, that's how we always do them, but we want to make sure that we're not staying stationary. So we want those feet moving, taking a few reps at the top. Once we get a full circumference, we're really trying to mobilize that shoulder, get that shoulder capsule as open as possible, at least that range of motion for us as open as possible. And then we're coming back down. Once we get all the way down to center, we're going backwards. We're doing the same thing, starting small, going big, and coming back down. And of course, really, really pay attention. Keep those feet moving again. I don't care what you do. It could be just going off to the side. Really, anything you do, I just want the whole body getting in, moving during this time, a full body warm up. That's what we're going for. And our feet are going to be moving. We'll have a little bit more of those plyometric type actions today. So we want to make sure that we are ready to go at all times. But guys, we should have taken a few at the top. Let's bring those back down to center. Keep those arms out. Give me those hamstring curls and that chest opener. When we're doing that chest opener, this is when we're really focusing on pulling that arm as far back as comfortable so that we're staying safe, but we're really trying to stretch that chest area as well as activate that area between the shoulder blades. Really important because pretty much when we're sitting at home, we have our shoulders scrunched over, maybe typing on our keyboards. This is a time to open us back up. So let's focus on stretching here, activating back there. Those are the antagonist muscles to your chest. They're going to help you stay nice and upright. And then, guys, we're going to transition into just some squats. Trying to go a little bit lower each and every time, continuously pressing through the heels. Avoid getting up on those toes towards the front. That might mean that we're leaning too far forward. We have too much weight on the front of our toes. So sit back into those heels. Even if we can't go too far down, I want us to focus on sitting back into those heels as much as possible. Now, guys, I want you giving me a calf raise at the top of each squat. Why we do the calf raise? All the muscles in the lower leg, those muscles below the knee, calf included, are really important to help get us some blood going back up to our heart, giving it some support there. So we never want to ignore those muscles or that blood flow by not including something like a calf raise. And guys, from here, you're going to give me some lunges. These can be normal speed lunges, front or back. Or they can be nice and slow. The difference is those normal lunges are going to give you a bigger heart rate booster, and that's all good. But these slower lunges as well are going to allow us to get that eccentric stretch. Really good right here in the hip flexor. So let's mix in a few of those both. If you want to do the faster ones to get that blood flow going first, warm up those muscles, and then start to slow it down, or get that stretch in first and then increase that heart rate. Guys, we're all different, so you guys know your body, but I want you to focus on getting both of those in, and feel free to switch them up too. Aaron, hi, nice to see you in. Aaron, today for the strength components of today's class, all we should need are some heavy weights. Of course, medium weights are always okay if you ever feel you want to drop down, but I think we should be able to do with heavy weights alone. And guys, we're going to spread those legs. Let's give me those side shifts or side shifts. Trying to get that stretch in that straight leg. That's the main focus here. But we're staying low so we can also get those glutes activated. But if at any time that's getting a little too much, always accessible to come up, stretch on over, come back up, stretch the other side. This is the warm-up, not meant to fatigue us, so more than okay to take it that route. Lori, nice to see you in as well. In case you missed it, heavy weights should get us through most of today's class. Medium weights available on the side if you want them. But guys, start giving me those hip openers as well. And let's go the opposite direction, outside to in. Basically, we're closing the hips, but really what we're focusing on is stretching that glute. And right there, guys, go ahead. Let's get our first quick water break in. We just warmed up those muscles, so let's hydrate them as they're demanding more blood flow. Let's get them that hydration that they need. Guys, as you're coming back to me, what we're going to start out today's class with is going to be some clock lunges. I know we've done them before, so I'll just go ahead and demonstrate quickly as you're finishing up that water. But it's going to be one moving leg that whole time. Right now, that's going to be my left leg. Lunge up to the front, lunge out diagonally, lunge out to the side, lunge back diagonally, lunge straight back, and lunge curtsy. Again, that left leg moved that whole time. That right leg was at pivot point, and then I would switch so that the right leg is moving. That doesn't mean that the moving leg is always the working leg, but we're basically just going around the world. Guys, we're going to go ahead and start that in 4, 3, 2, and 1. So once again, one leg going out in front, front diagonal, off to the side, diagonal back, all the way back, and curtsy. And guys, feel free to take that at whatever speed you want, especially if we're holding weights. Weights are optional at this point. You're going to move a little bit slower, but that's okay. We're going to try to get a few on each side. Some focus points is that regardless of whatever leg is that working leg. So again, if my left leg is working, I might step that one out. We're making sure that that heel is still the target point for our pressure, pressing up through that. That's the same as if we're going out to the side. Try to press through that heel. And if we start going backwards, again, that left leg goes back. Our right leg becomes that target leg. So now we're pressing through that heel. And of course, we're switching each side. If any of these, of course, are feeling uncomfortable at any time, maybe you're struggling with the balance component, that's more than okay. Just switch over to the ones that you can do. We don't have to do them all, but it is a nice little range of motion for each. Guys, we got about 10 seconds here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to come back. We're going to find a wall, and we're going to do some wall sits, starting those in 4, 3, 2. Go ahead, sit back on that wall. Knees behind toes, still pressing through that heel, guys. Hands off the thighs. And of course, if we don't have a wall, it's the same thing we always substitute with. It's just a squat hold in air, more than an adequate substitute. I just want us to work on that isometric contraction here. You guys are giving me another 10 seconds. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's come on up. Now you're just going to give me some squats. Normal squats here. Again, weights are optional for these more strength-based movements. So we're going to have another set of those wall sits or squat holds. Weights optional for that. Weights optional for these squats as well. $10 seconds here, guys. 10 seconds, and then we're going to be doing some in and out. What that's going to look like here, hold up, you're stopping in 3, 2, and 1, in and out, squat down, jump up, and back out. If we don't want to do this, guys, we're doing some squats, pulse at the bottom into a calf raise. That's the alternative. Go ahead and start there in 3, 2, and begin. Leo, nice to see you. So again, guys, almost like a squat, jump in, catch yourself on your toes, slight bend in the knees if we're coming to that up point. And of course, trying to use those arms a little bit as possible. We don't have to go full up in the sky, but you're more than welcome. And if that plyometrics is not something we're into, maybe we're worried about our hips, ankles, or knees, just give me squat with a pulse at the bottom, up to a calf raise. Squat, pulse at the bottom, up with a calf raise. 3, 2, and 1. Guys, we're going back to that wall, or we're going back to that squat hold. Off, in, 2, and 1. Squat hold right here, guys. If we're on that wall, let's try to keep our spine nice and flat, at least our back nice and flat against it. The spine is a curve, so it'll never be directly flat. Keep those hands off those thighs. Make sure those thighs are nice and parallel with the ground, pressing through the heels. And if you're doing that squat hold, just check yourself. Make sure we're sitting back on our heels as far as back as we can, even if that raises our butt a little bit, and then see if we can't sink that butt just a little bit every couple of seconds. Work on that eccentric stretch component. You guys are freeing yourself in 5, 4, 3, 2. Come on back up right into those squats, guys, right here, 2, and squat. These are normal squats, no jumps, no pulses, no holds, just normal squats. Weights, of course, optional. And again, if you're ever starting to feel yourself getting a little anterior or anterior thigh centric, quad centric, really try to sit back on those heels, get those glutes and the hamstrings reactivated. It's a little bit of a mental component, so really try concentrating on those posterior muscles back here rather than right up here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 more time, guys. You're giving me. Now we're doing those jump squats right into it. And of course, alternative, pulse, calf raise, pulse, calf raise. Guys are giving me that for another 15 seconds, and then you have a water break. 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, and go ahead. Break right there, guys. Rest, grab your water. While you're doing that, though, make sure the feet are still moving. Don't allow ourselves to get sedentary. Even if we're standing, we can still be sedentary. So let's stay up, stay moving, even if that means we're just in place, lifting those heels or a slight march, whatever it takes. I just don't want to see those feet planted in the ground. You guys will be back here in just a moment. All right, as you guys are coming back to me, next activity as you set down your water, just some jumping jacks, again, just to get that heart going. So whether or not we're going full jumping jacks, trying to get that full range of motion, full separation with those legs, and we're coming back in, or just give me a little bit of a side step and outreach, that's okay too. That's that less plyometric, a little bit of a regression versus those normal jumping jacks. But guys, that's gonna be us right now. If we're doing this reach, let's see if we can't get maybe a little bend in that center knee, straighten out that other leg, reach as far out as we can. Once we get that normal form, let's see if we can't speed it up as if it was as normal to us as those jumping jacks, because as we're doing those jumping jacks, you can go normal and then kick up that pace as well. You guys are giving me another 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and break right there, guys. We're going to keep those legs, or we're going to spread those legs out a little bit more. Give our arms as if we were a T, and windmills. Go ahead, 2 and 1. Feel free to start a little bit slower as you're getting used to that stretch that's going to happen in the back of your leg over that hamstring. As you start to realize what your range of motion is and you start to feel comfortable with that distance, feel free, then you can speed it up a little bit. Again, opposite arm, opposite leg, enjoying that stretch in the back, but also respecting that stretch because we don't want to go too far and risk over damaging the muscle. But it is good to get that eccentric component in. You guys are giving me this for another 10 seconds. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. This is going to be that time where weights are optional. It's going to be more of a strength component. We're going to go straight legged deadlift, or almost an RDL, which again, slight bend in the knee, back stay straight. Weights can be in the hands. That's more than all right. We're going here in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So yep, if we have our weights, we're pulling those shoulder blades together so that we're not rounding our shoulders into our chest. Back always stay straight at neutral, not hyperextending it at that neutral spine, how we would normally stand. Slight bend in the knees is okay. Feeling that hamstring stretch, similar to what we were just doing with those windmills. That's our guidance point right here. Feeling that stretch and then taking it back up under control, of course going down under control so we can respect that stretch component for another 10 seconds here as well, guys. 10 seconds. 3, 2, and break right there, guys. We're going to go ahead here into some side lunges, weights optional. We were doing those clock lunges here. Now we're just going to focus on some side lunges. We can pick up the pace right here, guys. So if we want it to be strength based, let's have weights in our hands or off to the side. But if we want to bounce it up a little bit, get some more plyometric, feel free to make it kind of like a shuffle. But guys, that's going to be us in 2 and 1. So again, if we're primarily utilizing this movement to get some more strength in our glutes, our hamstrings, and our quads, let's have those weights here on the shoulders, down the sides, or in front. And again, I'll show you guys that sped up movement. Weights aside for this one, but it's looking like right here, off to the side. Almost like you were doing a cut on an athletic field, turf or court. Again, speeding that up, and if we're doing that faster modality, we're probably putting a little bit more pressure on the front of our foot, more towards the toes on the ball of the foot versus that strength component. Let's try to keep it through the heels. 15 seconds for me. 15. 10. 2 and 1. Right there, guys. Break. Let's give me another quick drink of water. Back in just a moment. All right, you guys, as you're coming on back, I'm gonna have everybody pick up their weights here. Let's give me that staggered stance to protect the spine. You can give me alternate shoulder presses. That's gonna be us in 5, 4, 3, 2, and begin. So guys, we like to alternate the feet, that staggered stance, to avoid us hyperextending that back while we're going. Just gives our spine a nice base for some support. And we're alternating at the bottom rather than the top, so that we're not holding out here in a locked position for the elbow. Just protects the elbow joint as well as the shoulder joint a little bit. Five, 4, 3, 2, and right here, guys, I want everybody holding just like this, holding with our arms pretty much parallel to the ground. Breathing through it for another 5, 4, 3, 2. Guys, let's keep that somewhat staggered stance, but now let's hinge at the hips, almost utilizing this front leg as pretty much our strength support. Just give me some rows. Normal rows, no alternating, both hands, same time. Of course, we always want to make sure that we're retracting that shoulder blade at the start of the movement before we begin to bring that elbow back. That helps activate those rhomboids in between our shoulder blades, as well as our middle traps a little bit, which is good for our posture. We always want to make sure we're paying attention, because those are smaller muscles that do tend to get maybe bullied by our pec muscles. Our pec muscles just tend to naturally be stronger. Let's have everybody right up at the top hold for me right here. Let's lower down together for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Guys, we're going to head on down to the mat here. Keeping those weights, because you're now going to be giving me a chest press. In 3, 2, and begin. Both arms here together as well. Making sure that those elbows don't just land right into the floor. Soft touches if they touch at all. And let's have everybody holding at the bottom. What I mean by this is that our elbows are maybe an inch off the ground, so we still have to keep tension, and we're fighting gravity as much as possible. Keeping those wrists right over the elbows, so we're not worried about any external or internal rotation strength that has to be pulled in right here either. Strictly that horizontal abduction for the pec. For another 2 and 1. Right there, guys. We're going to go ahead and set those weights on down. We're going to turn on over. We're going to be doing a bird dog. We're going to hold each side 30 seconds. I know normally we do an alternating. This time we're going to hold it out. So what that is we have opposite arm, opposite leg in the air, nice straight line through the body. Let's get in that position in 3, 2, and let's hold right there. That's going to be us for 30 seconds. Again, constantly check ourselves. I know we don't always have a mirror with us like we might in the studio, but just make sure that that wrist is forming a straight line through the body to that far side ankle, activating the shoulder, low back, and glutes to really get that posture going. 3, 2, and you guys, quick transition off to the other side. Get your balance in line. Start in 2 and another 30 seconds for us. So normally we alternate. The reason we're holding today is, again, it's just working on that stability component a little bit more. Once you have to hold it, If you hold it for a longer time period, that 30 to 45 to a minute, you might start to find yourself fatiguing and losing that balance and that stability. So we're just kind of working with that a little bit just to give the body a different sense. 2, 1, rest there, guys. Of course, we're going to finish off. We have a 45-second plank hold. Let's get in position there for 3, 2, and holding right there, guys. As always, make sure we have a straight line from our shoulders to our hips to our ankles, with our hips maybe being a little bit higher. We always like to finish off our classes with these low back and plank or oblique type of movements, just so we can focus on that entire upper torso, that trunk area. That is where we get our major stability from, and those areas don't have to be worked too much because they do work in the background of all the activities we are doing prior, but this does just give them a little bit of time to their self. But you guys are done in 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead, guys, grab a breather, bring that water bottle closer to us. We're going to be right here, and just give me a nice Spider-Man stretch, focusing on that hip flexor. Again, I always encourage having that water bottle right next to us, because this is going to be a time where you want to continuously sip some water. That's rehydrating our muscles. Any sweat that we might have lost, it's going to replenish that in the bloodstream, and we need that bloodstream going actively to the muscles so that we can transport any good hormones and muscle release to the rest of the body, as well as get any metabolites that may have been generated by the muscle out of the body as well. But guys, let's go ahead, switch for me there. Right there, guys. Let's go ahead, take it all the way down to the ground here. Spread those legs for us and stretch right down in the middle. We're focusing on those adductors. They got targeted quite a bit with those side lunges that we did throughout the class today, as well as maybe even those jump squats in and out if we were doing those as well. And right there, guys, we're going to go ahead. Let's take it down on the mat. Let's put one ankle on the opposite knee, pull in that bottom knee, and roll out that ankle for me as well, guys. We like to roll out that ankle for the same reason we like to do calf raises at the start of class. One, it's a good way to just massage those blood vessels, especially while that ankle is above our heart rate. Helps promote a little bit of blood flow back to the heart, maybe not too much, but it might assist a little bit, as well as just rolling out that ankle, just getting those muscles activated, because those tend to be the most stiff parts throughout our days as we're sitting down. And go ahead right there, guys. Switch for me. Let's do the same thing on that opposite side. Rolling that ankle, again, clockwise, counterclockwise, maybe giving us a little toe forward, toe back, side to side specific. And right there, guys, let's break off of that. Go ahead, stand on up. Just give me a nice hanging hamstring stretch. This is that time where you not only have to focus on the hamstrings, but you can focus on the low back as well if you want to let the spine flex, those vertebrae extend away from each other. You can feel free to touch the toes, or you can just cross those arms. Again, just giving ourselves a little bit of a relaxation breather here, really letting ourselves hang loose more or less. Right there, guys. I'm going to have you put your hands on your shins, track them up towards your knee as we extend the low back, extend at the hips. Let's find a wall quickly, and we will give ourselves a nice chest stretch as well. If we don't have a wall, of course, we can put our hands behind our back to kind of get a little bit of a different stretch in the chest, more than acceptable. And switch sides for me there, guys. And I'll have you spring off the wall right there. We're gonna do our 4-way neck stretch here, guys, to conclude us off. Stretching the back of the neck, let's tuck our chin into our chest. That moment where you can really just let your arms hang wherever they like to, so long as you're not having any tension in those shoulders. Raise it up right there, guys. Let's tilt our heads back now so we can stretch the front of our necks. And return to center for me, guys. Let's go ear, same side shoulder. Stretch the side of our neck. And raise it up. Give me that same thing on the other side.